Hello YouTube, how you guys doing today? Today we got another great book for you. It's called Focus, The Hidden Driver of Excellence by Daniel Goleman. This book is chock full of great studies on how to optimize your focus and the consequences of lack of focus versus having good focus. So check it out if you're interested, and we will get into 3 layers of this book. First we'll talk about the core concept. Then we'll talk about the theory, which is a more specific layer of the book. And then we'll get into 3 action steps that you can take. 3 action steps that you can take to apply this book to your life. So let's get to the core concept. So the core idea is that top-down processing, which is in your brain, is just as important for focus as bottom-up processing. So in order to think in an optimal fashion, you need to balance the top-down brain with the bottom-up brain. So now you might be asking, what is top-down and what is bottom-up, right? So the top-down brain is voluntary, it's the seat of self-control, and most importantly, it's the part of your brain, it's the prefrontal cortex actively monitoring the basal ganglia and other lower substructures of the brain, which allow you to change your habits if you so choose, right? The bottom-up brain is the exact opposite of that. It's automatic, it's habitual, it's driven by emotion, it's intuitive. But the habitual part is what I want you to focus on. It encodes your habits. That's encode right there. It encodes your habits versus the top-down mind, which allows you to change your habits. So that's the basic theory behind Daniel Goleman's work. There are tons of studies done about the consequences of bad focus, right, or lack of focus, right, lack of self-control. Kids who are measured to have lower self-control, as they grow into adulthood, they're more likely to be divorced, they're more likely to be in jail, they're more likely to a lot of negative things, right? They're more likely to be unhealthy because they can't control their eating. And conversely, the kids who have high self-control are more likely to be healthy. They're more likely to be in happy marriages. They're more likely to have a higher income. So all of these things are the result of self-control. They in fact find that self-control is a greater predictor of life success than IQ and your social class. So self-control, it's really big. So that's the basic theory of the core concept, that focus is the combination of top-down and bottom-up processing. So let's get into some specific examples of what I mean by the balance of top-down and bottom-up. So Einstein, right? He worked on his ideas, top down. He focused on physics and learning mathematics and learning the highest physics of his day to the point that he saturated his entire brain with those theories. And then one day when he was just out relaxing, right, when he was just chilling in his patent office, he had a vision, right, an insight into the nature of reality, into the theory of relativity. So that was his bottom-up mind, right? His unconscious mind, which is always purring in the background, which is always working. It's always connecting the dots. It's always coming to conclusions. It's always, doing its thing. Whereas the top-down mind gets tired out easily, right? When the top-down mind gets tired and when you're daydreaming, then the bottom-up mind starts to come to the forefront. So that's all the theory that I want to talk about. So now let's get into 3 action steps that you can take to optimize and apply and create greater focus in your life. First is ART, ART. ART stands for Attention Restoration Therapy. So that entire idea, it's actually a great idea, is there was actually this professor, Steve Kaplan, who has studied the conditions in which attention is the most important, is best rejuvenated, right? So he put people in like a city street, right, and had them walk down a city street, and then put them in a lab and tested their ability to pay attention. And then he put them in nature, right? Had them go for a walk in nature. And what he found is, compared to the city street, where there's a lot of demand on your attention and a lot of distractions on your attention, the nature walk is actually more effective in restoring your focus, your attention. That's why he calls it attention restoration, right? It restores your attention. So things like that, right? Meditation restores your attention. Things where you distance yourself from the distractions of the world and get into focusing on or relaxing your mind and not focusing on specific things. So that's the first thing you can do, is attention restoration therapy. Go for a walk in the woods, basically, is what I'm saying, right? Go into nature. The next idea is, if you want to boost your creativity, you want to meditate and then daydream. Okay, so meditation boosts the circuits in your mind focused on happiness, and it's been proven that happiness promotes creativity, right? So meditation boosts happiness by activating your left prefrontal cortex, and your left prefrontal cortex is what fires when you're experiencing positive emotions. So that entire idea, meditation, get happy, get into the moment. Meditation also reduces the me network in the brain, called the default mode network. When you're in rumination, right, when you're thinking about yourself and you're constantly thinking these repetitive thoughts over and over again, meditation silences that network in your mind, the me network, right? You stop focusing on me and start focusing on what you're interested in, or other people. So first you meditate, you kind of quieten the me complex, the rumination, the cycles, the patterns of thinking in your brain, and then you daydream. So that's how you boost creativity. You want to break away from those habitual thought patterns. Use top-down processing to engage the best of your bottom-up mind. So bottom-up is daydreaming, top-down is meditation. So that's the second thing. The third thing you can do is cultivate self-awareness, and this leads to greater self-control. So what is self-awareness? It is metacognition, right? It's the ability to think about your thinking, right? When you're constantly looking down at your thoughts and realizing that, I am not my thoughts, but I am the awareness that is aware of my thoughts, you have greater metacognition. You have practiced that top-down ability to observe your thoughts and change those habitual patterns. So that's the first thing, right? Self-awareness. So they did this study, right? They found that individuals with greater self-awareness, by various measures, they're able to measure it in various ways, were better able to harmonize their view of themselves with other people's view of them, right? The people who had the least self-awareness were the least, their self-assessment was totally out of joint with their friends and their colleagues who assessed them, right? They're like, oh, well, I think I'm a great person, and their friends or colleagues are like, no, you're a horrible person. So if you have higher self-awareness, that will diminish, right? You will be better able to manipulate and modify your behaviors, and that's the goal, right? To really change your habits and change your life for the better. And that self-awareness, metacognition and meta-emotion, which is feeling about how you feel, right? You have feelings about how you feel. You have thoughts about how you think. And you have thoughts about how you feel, and you have feelings about how you think. So the thing is to really be aware of your feelings, and then think about how you can modify them if they're not conducive to your success, and allow them to do their thing if they are conducive to your success. So that's why self-awareness is the prerequisite to self-control. Self-control, like I just said, it's a predictor of lifetime success in ways that other things are not. So, that's the basic idea. That's the core concept of focus. Top-down and bottom-up processing needs to be combined to optimize thinking, creativity, and focus. Theory is the nature of bottom-up processing and top-down processing. I just explained it a little bit. And the action steps you can take. ART, attention restoration therapy, meditation to boost your creative thinking, and self-awareness to boost your self-control. All right, that's all I got for today. I hope you guys have a good one.